Hello, this is Johnny Cycles with CyclesGaming.com, bringing you my second league match with my Gruul Hydra Tribal deck in Modern. Unfortunately, the beginning of the video did not record, so we're going to pick it up a couple turns in. You haven't missed much. I played a Cavern, so I had to restart the video, thankfully. My opponent is on, you'll see the Jace-Tibalt combo. They've managed to answer Plukernos with a Fatal Push and countered a Stomp, so their life total is pretty high. I ran out of pressure except for, I think, a baby Hydra. And yeah, so we'll pick it up there. It's our turn to get lucky. And will this be, man, that early stomp and the one hit we didn't get off of with Pelucranos is going to come back to haunt us, I have a feeling. They got one card in hand. It's probably a counterspell, but thankfully they cannot counter it. Man, that Hardened Scales is not looking better. It would have given us a 3-turn clock. Our opponent's thinking, well, we're going to draw a bunch of cards so we can use our force and negation on something as simple as a Hardened Scales. When is this thing going off? 3. I think, are they drawing now? Do they find the answer? Do we find another threat? We really need another Hydra to have a chance. They're going to be drawing, it looks like they'll be up to 4 more cards next turn. So we're going to be in trouble without something. Hydra. Deck, give us a Hydra. Hydra. I feel like I'm Cobra. I've been watching G.I. Joes with my kids lately. My son just turned 8 and I got him the G.I. Joe headquarters for his birthday. Yeah, I had a feeling that's what was going to happen. And it was awesome. I never had it as a kid, so I kind of got to live my childhood dream as well. I don't think they're playing any reason not. I mean, we already got max punish for this last game for holding on to a land. I don't think we're going to get his max punish this game. We really needed something there. We really needed another Hydra. Another Hydra would have been lethal, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That would have been, nope, never trust my math. It would have put them down pretty low though. And now they're going to be drawing up to basically a full hand. And I'm sure they're going to have lots of action. I mean, unless they end up drawing lands and counter magic, which that is a possibility in a deck like theirs. It could happen. We might get lucky. Looks like it's going to be a Snapcaster. Oh, there's the Jace. Alright, so now see if they're plotting or drawing. If their last card's a Fatal Push, we'll be very sad. Yeah, they're plotting. What are they plotting? Valky, yep. So they have their combo. And we would really like a Hydra off the top. Hydra, we win. And without a Hydra, we're probably not winning. Granted, they could have a subtlety. Alright, deck, one time. Miscutter, off the top. Miscutter, Lightning Bolt. Those two are acceptable. Okay. Well, we were there. It just becomes plotted. I mean, I just don't think attacking their Jace is really the route we want to take right now. I mean, they've already done the damage. So at least this is something. I mean, at this point they're at 3. We don't even need the Ozolith to make our things super big. But what we do need is a Hydra off the top. We needed a Hydra off the top of that game. And maybe, or that turn, maybe we could have played Wooded Foothills and thinned our deck, but we really needed the action off the top. That was our window to close out the game. Either Lightning Bolt, Goldvein Hydra, any of our Hydras. Mistcutter would have been our best. Mistcutter is still our best. Yep. So they're going to exile, which means we don't get the treasure tokens, but we do get the, I assume they're going to exile to protect themselves, yeah, but we will get counters on Ozolith, on the Ozolith. Which turns any of our other Hydras even extra deadly. The one thing about our Hydras, though, they die to Fatal Push really easily. And our opponent now has up to 3 cards. I'm going to do another one. This is Ancestral Visions, maybe? If it is, they've seen a lot of Ancestral Visions. They've already drawn off of 1. They've got 2 exiled. They discarded an Impulse, I think. Alright, deck. Can you give us something? Hydra or Lightning Bolt? Hydra or Lightning Bolt, please. Hydra. Oh. Oh no! Our deck is mocking us. It is mocking us. The thing about them exiling a Hydra with X in it, though, at least, is I don't think they can then go ahead and... They can cast it with Tibalt, but I don't think it's going to do them any good. Oh, we're fizzling, y'all. We are fizzling. We had the window. We had the window. We only seen Bone Crusher, Plukernos, and Goldvein. Those have been our 3 threats in a deck with 16 creatures, and we fizzled. Lightning Bolt adds in, you know, that's a total of 16 left in our deck with 47 cards. It's a third of our deck is action that could have closed out this game, and we went land, the Ozolith. That's that. And that happens sometimes. Yeah, so actually they can cast the Hydra because they have to spend mana for it. So they can cast a big Hydra if they want. They're worried about fetching because of the Stomp. We would still really like to see Mistcutter. They have 6 cards, though. That's an insane number of cards. Surely there's ample Fatal Pushes / other cards that answer our Hydras. Counter Magic is dead, at least short of Subtlety. Opponent has all the cards in hand. Do we dare shuffle? We'll probably shuffle and what do we want to? We'll see what we were gonna draw. Field of Ruin. They're gonna play our Field of Ruin. They're gonna get rid of our Cavern. So it's all coming together for our opponent now. That was one of also the best draws they could have actually gotten off of our deck. Because now they have an answer for our Cavern of Souls. Let's see if they think about it before. Yeah, I'm not surprised that getting the Tibalt down as they have is letting them run away with this game. But I am annoyed that they also managed to get our Field of Ruin to answer the one way we have of deck. Oh, and I can't even scoop because they're at 3. They're at 3. They're so close to death. And they can ultimate their Jace. Well, we'll let our opponent have their fun. I mean, here at CyclesGaming.com, we are definitely about having fun with our decks. Now, normally we like to be the ones having fun, but I'm sure our opponent will enjoy their time to do all kinds of fun things with all those cards and all those planeswalkers. And we're still just 1 draw away. I can't imagine any of our burn spells will resolve, and unless it's Mistcutter. Still drawing. Alright, I mean, look, we have outs. We just have to draw them and hope our opponent's hand is full of lands and counter magic as long as our Cavern stays alive. And if it's not, we're just hoping that their hand is full of lands, which is, I think, probably highly likely. Right? Don't you? Painful. But we can't, you know, it's one of those situations. I mean, we're so close. They're so close to being dead. We have uncountable Hydras. they have to have the right kill spell. And they got the Ozolith. We are going to get another Ozolith. Wow, I thought our luck might have changed there with some of our draws, but not when you see land the Ozolith into shuffle, land into the Ozolith. And they got to land off top. Man, our top of our library has been unkind this game. Oh, I wish our deck, the luck we had during our practice matches would appear in our league, because we need all the luck we can to fight against these good decks. I mean, this type of draw against in our practice matches would have ended in us losing as well. And we're set up. I mean, we just really are in that big old Murktide Mistcutter. That is the best and only way out at this point. This is Impulse. Bottom, okay. Seeing what kind of sideboard hate I want to bring in. I mean, they just have 9 cards in hand. I'm sure that they're not things that can interact with what we are going to try to do. Now, the one thing about Goldvein Hydra, assuming that it resolves and doesn't die, the Kolaghan's Command. They can get rid of the Ozolith. I was going to say they probably have a Kolaghan's Command in hand then. Was that it could grow the Goldvein big enough to fight through this Murktide Hydra. Is it a Hydra? Is it a Mistcutter? Is it a Goldvein? It's a Lightning Bolt. Well, I mean, we're going to go for it because maybe we shouldn't. We should wait on their turn, but they have the mana for Force and Negation. Do they have the counterspell? I mean, this is why we're playing it out, though. Yep. We're playing it out because we have live draws when they're this low on life total. Ah, goodness. Did I just put counters on that thing? No. I'm about to say. That's the first time I've seen that. I guess I haven't played the Ozolith too much. But it's no, target creature. No wonder. Alright, we're going to just F6. And sit back. Let our opponent do their thing. Preserve our time, since this is a grindy match. The one match we played against this deck, it went long. And then they scooped after game 2. In game 2, because it was like a 30-minute game 1. They do have a clock. They can kill us in 3 turns. Again, if they weren't at 2, I would have scooped. But man, we're just a Mistcutter Hydra away. Unless they have a handful of Fatal Pushes or Snapcaster Mages. Which is probably very likely. Yeah, we'll discard this, the Ozolith. Joke's on you, opponent. And, you gonna... What did they do? Oh, it got Snapcaster Mage back. Alright, I mean, at this point, they got the Snapcaster Mage. They're hitting us for 8. And we're dead, so we'll scoop it up. Alright, well, that was a painful loss. And look at the draws. Okay, so I'm going to go get my water bottle. I'm going to take a little break in sideboarding. I'm going to let my deck think about itself for a little while. And, you know, see if it can't understand during its quiet time that it needs to perform better and not give me lands and the Ozoliths all the time. Okay, we're back. Hopefully our deck has had some time to think about itself. Well, we have two of our best cards. We have a Veil of Summer. We only have one land. We have some hate against their graveyard. For this, yeah, we could just risk it. I feel like risking it is just really rolling the dice on whether or not we're going to draw lands. Alright, well, we'll keep this one. It's really, again, some combination of the first 2/7 would have been very nice. A couple extra lands from this hand, maybe one less Planeswalker or one less something. Put a Stomping Ground to the bottom. Be done. Opponent's going to 6. Yeah, so I went with 3 Veil of Summers and 2 Endurances. Took out some of my 1 mana stuff. And you can see we're missing that now. We saw, and I've already forgotten, we didn't see any of it in the opening 7 either. And then I went down, I think 1 or 2 Stomps. Just try to trim here and there. I think we have 2 the Ozolith, 2 Hardened Scales, 3 Utopia Sprawls, 2 Bone Crusher Giants. And then, I mean, the 3rd Endurance could be good. It's good in the right spot. I didn't want to trim it down to 1 Hardened Scale. It's almost like, why even have it in there at all then? It does give us, especially on the play, it gives us some of our more powerful starts. So, we'll see. Maybe they're going to, they mold to 6, maybe they're going to shock and fetch Shock Thoughtseize, and we can Veil of Summer and draw into something here. Or not. Kiora. It's a good draw. Be better if this Veil of Summer was Utopia Sprawl, but then we might not have been able to protect our hand from keep the Kiora. See what. Just trying to decide. We have the 3rd land to play the Kiora. We'll be playing it right into counter magic. So I guess what we'd really like to draw here is a Utopia Sprawl. Even a land to ensure that we can play Kiora and Veil of Summer protection. Or a 1 mana, something to do with 1 mana. So that we can maybe advance our board state or draw to counterspell. Like the Ozolith, the Hardened Scales. We have our finishers. We just have to get there and hope that they don't die. Opponent, I don't know what's in the sideboard. I've never looked at a deck list of this type of deck. Do they play Damnation in the sideboard? You would think they would play the One Ring, and I didn't see it at all. I haven't seen it in any of well, a couple of games I've played against it. I have not seen the One Ring. But it seems like a natural fit in a control shell, although they may think... I mean, we'll go ahead. We have the basic forest in hand, so I was going to say we could get a basic forest for Utopia Sprawl, but what's going to be deck? There's the Utopia Sprawl. That is something to do, and that is one of our better draws. If they want to counter it, we can Veil of Summer. So now we could go ahead and run out this Kiora, and it will probably get countered. And then we'd be very sad, because next turn, if we run out the Kiora, we can protect it with Veil of Summer. And this way we can protect our hand from Thoughtseize as well. See if they Bowmasters. Just an impulse. Just some, you know, manipulation of their library. Not really. Just, what is that? Scry 4? Scry 4, draw a card. Instant speed. 2 mana. Alright. What you got, homie? Now they also now have the mana to go Spell Snare or Spell Pierce into counter magic. But this cure is super important for us to not just pump out big Hydras, but also to draw us cards. It surely would have been nice to hit a Cavern of Souls there. So we could untap and then make a baby Hydra, but we're not going to do that. We're just going to pass the turn. Next turn we can make a fairly large Hydra with Veil of Summer back up and hope it's enough to get through. So we can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Each opponent sacrifices, so it doesn't even target. So the no value, no, we did get a kill spell out of our opponent's hand, but not, and maybe that will be okay. We'll now have a 3/3 baby Hydra. Here comes the Jace. Sure. And the damage is done, right? Like it comes down, it immediately plots the Tibalt. They have it, which, you know, why wouldn't they? Just a Kolaghan's command, I guess it could be worse. The damage is done though, right? Even if we kill it, thing's plotted. And there's nothing, you can't interact with that except by countering it when it comes back down. What do we want off the top here? Our land isn't bad. It does make our Hydra big enough to kill this Jace. Do we want to do the flyer, or do we want to do the hasty, or the vigilance trampler? So go for Jace. They plotted the Kolaghan's command. Jace is down. Opponent's down to 3, going up to 4 plus the Kolaghan's command, which can return them something like a creature. So what I guess we'd want to see is no Jace into Tibalt, but this Kolaghan's command, which we can then Veil of Summer, and they'll probably counter, and then we have to discard our Shivan Devastator, I imagine. Maybe they'll go discard 2 damage. It's an instant speed thing though, they don't need to do it on our turn. Oh, and no, I think at plot they have to cast it on a later turn. They can't cast it at instant speed on our turn. Maybe, I have to double check that. Alright, what do they got? Another Shieldred's Edict, and it's a Fatal Push. So we'll Veil of Summer, assume this is getting countered. Maybe we'll get lucky. They don't have a counterspell. The Kolaghan's command, though, if this does get countered, worst case, right? They're going to counter it, and then Kolaghan's command us. Hey, it survived. It did not get countered. I was going to say, then the Kolaghan commands us. Kolaghan's command. That's really hard to say. Then they cast Kolaghan's command. There we go. And make us discard after they countered that, but they did not. So that was good for us. Now we have hexproof. Our things have hexproof. Bowmaster's Kolaghan's command is off the table. And we drew a Mistcutter Hydra, which cannot be countered. I don't know if they had the counterspell, I think they would have cast it there though. We are drawing better. Now we're going to be able to put pressure on our opponent's life total. They're down to 2 cards. They haven't been able to draw their entire deck this game. We were able to take care of their Jace. They didn't have the worst case scenario of plotting a Tibalt. Opponent's playing pretty slow. Let's see what we draw. A lightning bolt's pretty good. Alright. It's always nice to have a lightning bolt. So we're going to run out. We're going to hope that this is a subtlety in their hand. And just run out a big miscutter. I mean, we don't want it to be a subtlety. We want them to have a handful of nothing. That's what we want them to have. Alright, Tishana's Tidebinder. Interesting. Do they have some trickeration to go with this? It does have trample. So it will keep their life total from getting too low. And then I guess if they have I guess we'll find out. If they have the Kolaghan's command, it's going to happen now. Now the question is, they're down 1 card. Oh, they're Lightning Bolt. Okay, so then they're going to Lightning Bolt. And then we'll get some treasures. Now, they have 1 card, they're drawing 1 card and they have the Kolaghan's command. So they can, are they going to find an answer? This is it. Or will they die to our Mistcutter Hydra? I think they're going to die to our Mistcutter Hydra. That's my guess. It's a big old Murktide Regent. You know what has protection from blue and doesn't care about Murktide Regent? Mistcutter Hydra. You know what else? We have Double Bolt. I don't even know if I want to attack and remind them that this is protection from blue. Alright, so we got there and, on the back of a very fast, aggressive start after mulling. We played it slowly though with our Veil of Summer. Our opponent didn't have a lot of interaction. They had the 1 kill spell. They did not draw through their deck. We had a timely land to kill their Jace before they could do any more than plot a Kolaghan's command. They didn't have the luck of plotting a Tibalt. So yeah, when your opponent doesn't have literally all their best cards and all the answers, the deck can do some things. Alright, well, do we want to change anything? Alright, let's run it back. Our opponent's actually playing slower than we are by a few minutes. This is a fine hand. It does not have any of our sideboard hate or any way to protect against the Thoughtseize. They're mulling to 6 currently, and but we do have a fast start. And if we can stick a Domri, then we are off to an uncounterably fast start. Does not look like that's going to have. Oh no, just an Ancestral Vision. Maybe it will. We'll see. Another Domri. Okay, the race is on, folks. I like where we're at right now. I mean, our opponent has got probably one of their better starts with Ancestral Vision. We're going to name green on turn 1. But what we really don't want to see is what they did game 1, which was Jace on turn 4 or whatever into Tibalt plotted. Plotting is a little bit like energy, it feels like, where you can't interact with the spell once it's plotted unless you have counter magic. With energy, you couldn't interact with the spell at all. So maybe that's not the right description, but another Ancestral Vision. Alright, well, can we be fast enough? We're going to get down a fast-ish Shivan Devastator. Mistcutter Hydra is a great draw for us. Do we want to lightning bolt? Hold up our lightning bolt for anything? Or do we want to just go face now? And assuming we were going to be using our mana. So 13. Next turn it would be, so Mistcutter would be a 1, 2, 3, a 4, 4 into a theoretically 5, 5. Damn, we already seen the Tishana's Tidebinder. I'm gonna be greedy. Just bolt their face. Be mana efficient. The race is on. They're drawing 6 cards in a couple turns. You know, 3 extra cards in 2 turns and 3 extra cards in 3 turns. And if they have a Tishana's Tidebinder, we're gonna be very sad. That is true. Because we just used our bolt. And then we drew into a bolt. The magic gods are once again smiling upon us. Can we race them? X equals 4. Do they have a Fatal Push or a Shielder's Edict? You think they would use the Edict on the Domri though. So it's likely a Fatal Push here. So we're running out the Devastator. It's uncounterable. I forgot about the extra damage. I'm always forgetting about it. I played Domri for so long. And I still forget about that extra point of damage. When I was doing my math, right? So 5 plus 6 is 11. Alright, so maybe they don't have an answer. I'm liking where we're at right now. I'm liking that we might get there. We might get to win this race after all. They're dead next turn if they don't find something. Ancestral Visions are not. The uncounterability of things might be coming back to haunt our opponent a little bit. We can draw into, what do we need here ideally? Impulse digging. Alright, well that's one of their better draws if they don't have an answer. Hopefully they'll whiff. I'm looking for that Fatal Push. Gonna go get a land. Making a land drop, it looks like they still might get a Fatal, they may still have a Fatal Push, at which point, what are our possibilities here? Okay, well, it looks like our opponent's dead. They're tapped down. We have a Mistcutter Hydra. It's true they could cast Subtlety. That is one way they could get out of this. To bounce the Shivan Devastator. I kind of just want to leave up. This baby Hydra is going to be a 4/3. And that leaves up Lightning Bolt. In case they have a Subtlety. And it's more than enough to kill them. Alright, and we fought through it. They didn't have the answers. Our Hydras got the pressure. Game 1, they lived their dream. We got there in Game 2 on the back of some serious pressure with some Veil of Summer backup. Timely draws. This game, man, we saw the power right out of the gates. Just Utopia Sprawl is such a powerful card. They didn't have the interactions. Their interactions didn't line up. They couldn't find their answers. They had all this card draw, but sometimes you just don't get it. Alright, taking down the Bugaboo. I don't know, I use that word a lot for these. I don't know what this is. Is this a tier 1 deck? Is this the new Bugaboo of Modern? I've seen a few headlines about Jace being pretty powerful. It's nice when your opponent doesn't have it all with that Game 2 when they played the Jace and plotted a Kolaghan's Command instead of a Tibalt. Especially after our first match when it felt like that's exactly what was happening. And then our deck performed. So yeah, got there. For CyclesGaming.com, this is Johnny Cycles. Thanks for watching. I'll catch y'all on the next one. This has been another edition of Keeping Modern Janky with Johnny Cycles. Thanks for watching. Be sure to check out my website, cyclesgaming.com, for original Magic the Gathering content. You can read about my Commander decks or my Janky Modern brews. My latest article is about the Zombie Precon and its effect on Commander. I give you a couple different deck lists. If you're interested in a science fiction / fantasy novel, be sure to check out my book, The Podcon. I'm publishing it serially, a couple chapters every month. Again, thanks for watching. Check me out on YouTube, Johnny Cycles. Click that subscribe button. I'd really appreciate it, and I'll catch you on the next one.